What's up, guys? This is the second and final personal saber demo that I get to do this week. This is a very, very cool saber that I had done by my good friend Carl Danby over at Vaults of Valhalla. Ranked probably the top etcher in my opinion. There are a few guys that are right up there with him, but not very many at all. I mean, you could count them on one hand and you'd have fingers left over. That guy is a master at his craft. I'm very proud to call him a friend, and this saber to me is no different, right? This is an Inspira Designs ID7 that I got on the second run, and then as soon as I got it, the very next day after getting it, I sent it right over to Carl and I asked him for an Umbrella Corporation theme. I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil games. I've been playing them since they came out, and I've never seen it done before, and I like to from time to time do the mashups between different franchises and sabers when it makes sense for me, and then have them in my collection. So he totally knocked this out of the park. I did go through and I installed it. I wasn't able to install it last week, but when I came home yesterday, some mail that had come while I was gone had the crystal chamber in it that I had been waiting for. This one, again, I'm not going to go over here in front of the camera. I believe that this one deserves a bird's eye view of my desk, while I can mess around with it and show you everything that has to do with this saber and not have to worry about constantly being in focus. When I'm over my desk, I use my iPhone. Here I'm using a camera, and it can tend to be a bit slow on the uptake, right? So we're going to go over my desk and use my iPhone so that we can go over this and talk about it. It is just an absolutely gorgeous saber. I couldn't be happier with what he did to this, and it will forever be just a cherished part of my collection. But let's go over to my desk. Before we go over to my desk, though, I'm going to play this video that he sent me before he sent me the saber. It was a complete surprise, and it is worth playing. So we're going to play that and then go over to the desk. Here we go. So I wanted to go over this saber I got from Vaults of Valhalla, Carl Danby over there in the UK. I got this ID7 from Inspira Designs. I was in on their second run, and I knew right away this is the one I wanted to send Carl. I'd been wanting to send him a saber for a while. I just didn't know which one. But when I saw this one, I thought, yeah, man, that's the one. There's a lot of room to work with. He could do his thing on there. I did ask for an Umbrella Corporation theme, but other than that, I just let Carl do his thing. And this thing came out so nice. I don't know if you're going to be able to catch all of this, but we're going to try to go over some of the detailing here. It says Bioweapons Division. Over here it says Isolated Nemesis Saber Enhancement. I mean, there's a lot of super cool detailing. All of these lettering, all this lettering, super tiny, but came out very, very crisp. The dude is just an etching legend. Taught me a lot of things about etching, and I don't even etch anymore, because I just tell people, if you want a saber to be etched, and you're willing to spend that kind of money, really, there's guys like Carl that just are like top notch in the game. So like I just don't I don't even mess with it. But this thing came out just outstanding. I mean, it's weathered, which is something he doesn't usually do, but it's something I like my sabers to be. So he did that for me, and that came out super cool. He did the red leather on the handle, distressed red. All of the red painting that you can see throughout the saber, just painting some accents. So it's not too much, but it's just enough to bring out a lot of the accents, and it's not just bright red paint either. It looks like it has been distressed. So there's a mixture of black in there. I don't even know how he does it. Some kind of wash in there. It just looks super, super cool. I was very happy to get this. Very quick too. I mean, Carl, Carl's a friend of mine anyway. But I didn't expect any special favors. He does give a discount to anyone in the Saber community that provides a service. My particular service being installs mostly. But anyone that provides a service gets a nice discount from Carl. It's his way of giving back to the people who try to provide other services for this hobby and try to keep it alive. But other than that, I wasn't expecting to see this thing for months. I basically just put it out of my mind. And I think I sent it to him. I think I had it back in my house in like 3.5 weeks. It was just ridiculous. This is something that I swapped out here. This is a custom glass eye that my buddy Robert Sotomayor makes over at Sorok Sabers. This kit came with like a faux glass eye that you'd see like on the 2.0 Graflex replicas with no shine through, and it was just plated. So I like the fact that Rob machines these. He puts this red eye in, and then there is a hole in the threading as well, so I get some shine through. So I thought that topped it off nicely. Now I did install this guy. This has a Carl Chen V4 Neopixel adapter in there. It's a 2-button setup. These switches are very low profile. There's one right here, and there's one right here. I wanted to kind of install this before I did an official video on it. I'm recording this portion ahead of time, so I'm not sure what I'll say in the demo. I'm sure I'll go off and talk a little bit about this guy. But 2-button setup, power being right here, auxiliary being over here. Now the power's over here because I'm left-handed, and I got to do something for me for a change. So this is set up for a left-handed person. This glass eye also serves as a blade retention, so no tools needed, which is very cool. Now, I had done an install on somebody else's ID7 even before I shipped this off to Carl. So I had the dimensions already for what a chassis needed to be. So while he was working on this, I was working on a chassis. And I wanted it to be different. I like to just do some one-of-one things and have them be a little bit different when I'm doing stuff for myself. When we take this off here, this is the chassis right here. This back half of the chassis is something that I printed in red and black carbon fiber. It's a multicolor print, obviously. It is something I do on my Bamboo X1 carbon. So I did that and all that in carbon fiber. It is a removable battery setup. So if we pop that out, this is a removable 18350 with a kill switch back here. But I'm just going to leave this guy in here. Springy. So kill switch right there. 28mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker, always Smuggler's Outpost speaker to get the best sound quality out of your saber. Running a Proffie. This is running a Proffie 2.2. It's what I put in all my builds. It's a perfectly good board, especially for what I'm doing here. More than enough. But I put some like DNA stranding along the side of the chassis, just some multicolor stuff. It says Umbrella Corporation over here, of course, with the logo. This is a crystal chamber that I designed for this saber, and I had it printed in brass. So there's a couple tubes over here. That's for wire passage. Looking over here, when you look at the brass door right here, the brass door actually has the Umbrella Corporation logo, and it just says Umbrella Corporation around it. It is on there with a magnet, but it's on a hinge, so you could just flip it open like that. What I decided to do, instead of the crystal, like an actual quartz crystal, because you always see that in a saber, and it makes sense for a lightsaber, but you always see that, and I wanted to use something that looked like the T-Virus So the T-Virus is powering up this guy, but it's on a hinge right there. It does have a single Neopixel accent under there. So it does light this area up and it looks pretty cool. And then a magnet right here. There's a small magnet right here. And of course there's one on the bottom of the door right over here. So when you close that, it closes right up and it doesn't come loose like that. All right. Let's flip this guy on. I've got 2 sound fonts on here. I've got one from each of my boys. I've got the K-Sith Horizon, and I've got a Kyberphonic V3 Darksaber. All right, so flip this on. Now on the Horizon, I did not make anything happen to the crystal chamber area unless the saber was on. And then I went with this right here. Blade lock up. Of course, you can see it all the way through, but it's best viewed if you open this up and you get that nice little kind of broken circuitry, and it's got twist off. We'll put a blade in it. This was made for a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade. So I got a blade right here.
The Darksaber.
Whoops.
It belongs to you.
Horizon.
Got a 1-inch blade right here. Go ahead and toss it in and lock it down. I love this little blade. This is a blade I got from, it was a gift to me from Space Windu over at Civilized Saber. So that was very cool of him. It's a little TriStar test blade. We got some very cool shine through in the windows and those little cutouts there. And if we go to the next one, which is the Darksaber.
The Darksaber. It belongs to you.
This one I did play around with a little bit, so I do have this one pulsing in red. I need to put a set screw here. I haven't done that yet, but I've got one off to the side of my table. I just forgot to do it. And of course, when we put the handle on, got a blade lock up.
Horizon.
Now this is very cool also. Jesse over at Kyberphonic helped me make a wave file. This is the Umbrella theme, or the Umbrella Corporation theme. So hopefully that's picking up. Super cool. It's the same on both fonts. I just wanted that to be the track. Turn it off, and we'll take the blade out. So yeah, that is my Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil themed Inspira Designs ID7, done by my good friend Carl Danby over at Vaults of Valhalla. This will be a super treasured piece of my collection. I'm going to turn that off real quick. Super treasured piece of my collection. And it will go on the shelf and hardly ever get touched. Thanks for taking a look.